Welcome to the National Real Estate Network video training program. This video is part of a series designed to help beginning and experienced real estate investors with the different aspects of purchasing and investing in properties. Be sure to click become a member at 27monthlymeetup.com.
Something gets said and you didn't have time to write it down or you want to hear it. So I'll send that out later, but if you do talk, you are going to get recorded and you'll be out for everybody to hear. So, so that's what our crowdfunding release is about. You want to go to the next slide? Okay, so our speaker today is going to be talking about probate, and he and I don't know what all he's going to be talking about, but he is going to open it up to Q&A so everybody can ask all the questions they want to ask. He's a very experienced attorney. And so, so that's basically the stuff that's listed here is what he's going to be covering. We'll come back to it in a second. We got a couple of disclaimers we give in all of our meetings, and I'll go to the disclaimers now. Real estate, by its very nature, can be risky. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. You always want to, talk to an attorney, get legal advice, accounting advice. And the other disclaimer, I'm speaking for myself. Everything I say is a lie. If you like it, try it on. Basically, what I'm saying is don't sue me. So, did I miss some other stuff there? Oh, and then a little bit about me. I've been around a long time. I've made an unbelievable number of mistakes in real estate. So I'm a perfect person to talk to on what not to do sometimes. But I've been involved in over 3,500 real estate transactions. I'm involved right now currently with a national charity that is taking real estate donations. I work with Volunteers of America here locally and helping handle their real estate donation program. So I'm also a source for properties. Today what I do is I'm heavily involved in the internet. I've managed 3 national franchises, marketing campaigns, and I handle dumpster companies that are all over the U.S. And I work for one national dumpster company. That's been a very rewarding experience for me. So I'm going to start covering some stuff on internet marketing coming up, like on how you guys can get into it the most cost-effective way. And today, how I make my money with real estate is I'm a lead generator. By that I mean on the internet I have tons of things that feed leads to me. I get the calls. The calls are recorded through a thing called Tracker Jack, and it's a great tool. So like today you can get telephone numbers for $1 on Twilio, and you can like put them on your bandit signs. You can put them on website addresses, and when the person calls, it tells them that this call will be recorded for training purposes. So then the call's recorded. So I could be in my car driving, I could be in the restroom, I could be wherever, and I'm asking the questions, the call's getting recorded. I'm asking the people to give me the address of the house they're selling. I'm gathering all that information. Then I get a text message with that information on it. I can also get an email with that information. I can then forward that information to a very active investor. So in my case, I work with a couple of investors, and how I've gotten the investors I work with is I've weeded through lots of people. One of them is Todd, who will be on next week's meeting. So Todd goes to every investor meeting there is. He focuses 100% on buyers. So if I can get the lead, then he instantly goes out to that house and gets it tied up. But the thing I like about him is he's already got who the buyer is when he's talking to the people. And I also know that if it's not a good lead and the house just needs to be listed, he's going to list it. and then I'm going to get a referral fee back. So I get to share in all the stuff that's going on. So I'm basically able to stay home, generate leads. So anybody that's on the call that has a full-time job or doesn't have the time for it, a great way to get into this business is through lead generation. And even if you're somebody that's buying houses to find, fix, and flip or rent, you're going to run into deals that need to be listed or people who have issues. If you've got the right contacts and you have a real estate license, you can refer those and make some real nice extra money. So some of the things I made just on splitting commissions where I referred a good deal out to a wholesaler. I had like a couple last year that like hit in the $10,000 range. So that's a really, really good way to do business. And we had a meeting here a week ago where we talked about how to make money with what's going on right now. So, and that's what next week's going to be talking about, is how do you generate leads. So, Maureen, are you trying to call the speaker then to see where he's at?
Yeah, I was trying to get a hold of him. I'm not sure what's going on.
Maybe call Jeff and see if Jeff can track him down.
Yep, I just did, but he didn't answer either. So I'm hoping it's not something else.
All right. I'll try texting. Well, guys, our speaker isn't here, so let's just open it up to discussion. Let's open it up to some questions, and I
just unmuted everyone, so they can go ahead and unmute themselves or whatever if they'd like.
Questions? Is anybody on the call done some probated estates? Bottom?
This is Linda McGee. I have not done any, but I'm interested in learning.
Okay. So I can talk a little bit what I'm doing. I actually researched all the probate attorneys. I have a partner in this. He went on and found some national sites that listed probate attorneys, and he's been spending the week calling them and just introducing ourselves. Most probate attorneys seem like they have like a handful of investors that they're working. I'm just talking about my own experience here. A handful of investors that they're working with, but I think it's well worth tracking them down. If you can find a probate attorney that's handling a lot of probates, it probably would make sense to, once this pandemic lightens up, to actually go meet them, go talk to them, just put yourself present in front of them. So like if let's say that an investor died and he held a lot of property, and some of the properties were like in Detroit. A typical probate attorney, if the property doesn't look like it's got very much value, or if it might be somewhere where they don't want it, they'll actually abate property. So what that means is they're going to just let the property go back to the state, let the state foreclose on it. So there's a ton of probated deals that are out there that are just being abated. So another way I'm trying to approach them is if they're getting the property that they're going to abate, maybe they would consider donating it, and I would make sure they got some positive press off of that. So it's really how you can get in touch and develop a relationship, and maybe our speaker will be able to put a lot of emphasis on that. So
may I ask a question, Mark?
Sure.
How much generally does the probate attorney receive from the deal?
That's between them and the I don't know if it's a court-appointed case, we're really going to have to ask the probate attorney.
Okay.
But I know that there's the attorney's main interest is just to get the property liquidated, and then, you know, and I don't know if they would answer the question like that, but it's in my
Okay.
experience that their goal was just to liquidate as quick as possible.
All right.
Mark,
Yes,
do you remember when Royal Oak had all that flooding?
yes.
Was that 4 years ago now?
I don't know. Time blends
I think
together
it's
for
about
me,
that, yeah.
but I do
So-
remember that.
I had completed a realtor course called Senior Real Estate Specialist. I don't know if you heard that one. It's a professional designation.
Got it.
So one of the things they wanted us to do was to network with probate attorneys. And I get a call, and it goes something like this. It was right when all the flooding went on. They go, "Do you buy houses that have furniture floating in the basement?" When he said Royal Oak, I said yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I've had a couple different relationships with probate attorneys. So one of the ways that I think I'm going to try to develop a relationship is offer to do a seminar for just probated attorneys on how they can market themselves on the internet. And I'm hoping to give them a lot of good information just to be able to develop a relationship with them. So is anybody buying probated list? You can actually get the list of probated estates that it's going on, like through Oakland County and different places.
Well, that's clearly an untapped market since it doesn't appear that anybody's buying that.
Yeah, so that would be a good place to start too, because now you've got somebody that is handling a probated estate. So you could just call them and say that you're absolutely a cash buyer and that you'll close quickly, and get your name on their list and tell them that you'd like to make offers, and then ask about the one that they currently have. I think that would be a really good way. I haven't done that, so makes sense to do it.
Mark, have you worked with any of the AI programs like the realtors have that Remine? And there's a bunch of others that are like that. And it does list properties that are affected with different life events. Have you seen that?
No, but I'm sure Maureen, have you?
Yes, absolutely. You know, as the broker here at Villa, yeah, Remine is something that comes with our MLS, and that is something that, yes, real estate agents are using because it's integrated with the information that comes in from the county, so the public records and all of that. And it does have some other information on there, surprisingly enough, like you said, about life events, right? So it kind of gives like a purchase score or whatever, you know, their buying score is, whatever their dynamics are, you know, as far as what they're doing behind the scenes to figure that out. I'm not sure, but yeah, there's some information in there. But you know, you have to search for a specific area. You can kind of do it through an outline where you can, you know, draw on the screen, and you can kind of say, you know, this is the area, demographics or whatever that you're looking for. You know, little things like that that you can do. The other thing is, you know, clearly, if you're a real estate agent, like Mark said, you know, you should be talking to a probate attorney, you know, and possibly, you know, listing those properties. That might be something to do as well.
Yeah, that to any investor out there, getting a real estate license is a definite advantage to you. Even like somebody like me, who I don't want to go list anything, I'm going to absolutely tell them that my partner and I will handle it. And then I'm going to take a referral fee, and I'm going to be a co-lister on that property, but it's going to be through a referral. So so the other thing is, because she'll never do this, Maureen is an incredible resource for anybody. I'm going to give you some examples of that. Like, we have a virtual assistant that's in the Philippines. If you were talking to him on the phone, you would swear he lived right down the street from you. And he calls on leads. So Maureen has all kinds of programs, and you'll have to talk to her one-on-one, where she can go in and pull all the foreclosures in a given zip code. She can pull all the distressed properties in a given zip code. Let's say that you've just rehabbed a house and you want to find a buyer for it. And it's a rental property, and you want to sell it to a landlord, or if it's a rental property you've got tenants in that you want to sell. She can pull all the landlords in a given zip code. She can pull all the property owners that own multiple properties. And sometimes that's a good way to find a don't wanter, is you find a landlord that owns a lot of properties. So she can pull up properties that are distressed, behind on taxes. So you can basically take the market you're after and let her do the searching and generate the list. And that's what we do when we're chasing properties. Like, I just attempted in the Chicago market. I was interested in commercial property from a donation standpoint. So she pulled all the properties that were in foreclosure or tax delinquent or had issues. And then we had a team of people approach those investors. We did get one investor that had a property that he's considering to donate. So, I mean, she's an incredible resource for you guys, but you probably need to put your license with her, or you need to talk to her one-on-one, and she will sell you leads to or help you with that regard. So, guys, ask questions.
Who here thinks we're going to see a downturn in the market coming up in the next, probably not 90 days, but probably in the next 6 months? What are your thoughts on that, Mark?
Yeah, you already know the answer, but it's a great question. So, and the reason she knows the answer is because she has a whole lot of BPO agents that work for her. That what they are, they're agents that get broker price opinions. So when the market gets starting to get distressed, anybody that's behind a month in their payment or whatever, they're going to send an agent out to look at the property and see if it's been vacated or what it looks like. And then the REOs are majorly properties that are being foreclosed on. There's all kinds of assignments coming out. So you're definitely going to see a glut of houses start to come on the market in another 5 to 6 months. That's my opinion. I'm pretty sure that's Maureen's opinion too.
Well, yeah.
And
I mean, and I'll be honest with you. One of the reasons why I have that opinion is because, you know, my agents that are doing, you know, broker price opinions, who do them regularly, have seen an increase in their business. And clearly, you know, there's a moratorium on any kind of foreclosure right now, and that's through at least June 12th, I think. And, you know, after that time, we'll see kind of probably where we're at. But that was the first initial moratorium that was placed, you know, by Fannie and Freddie, and they kind of set the standards for the industry. And so, you know, we'll see what happens after that. But, you know, what they're doing is they're already checking to see what condition the properties are in. So agents go out, you know, they do what we call a drive-by, taking photos, you know, kind of letting them know what the neighborhood looks like, giving them statistics for the market, so that they can kind of get a feel for, you know, what the property values might be should they have to go through the full default.
There's a site called REO Network. And if you're a agent that is working on BPOs and REO properties, you'll list yourself there. So that's a way for you to start to find the agents that are handling those properties. And you're starting to see, and you could probably answer this better. Are you seeing a lot of forbearance agreements or renegotiating payment arrangements, Maureen?
Yeah, actually we are. So, you know, the banks or the mortgage servicers actually, stepped in and told people back in April that they could, delay payments, which is what we call forbearance. And they would have the ability to do one of three things in 6 months, which was typical, of the program. And that is to, one, pay it back all at once in September. Two, to make some additional payments, so they'd be paying their mortgage payment plus, some additional to kind of get caught up. Or three, to tack it on to the back end of the mortgage, which comes with clearly interest. You don't pay penalties, but because the federal government said they couldn't charge those, but they will be paying additional interest and adding, those payments onto the back end of their mortgage. So a lot of people didn't know that going into the program, probably, because they were probably given those terms after they had requested it. Every day I was hearing commercials on the radio and on the television and whatnot, that if you were having trouble making your payments, to call. You could do it for a car, you could do it for, for a mortgage, those types of things. They were calling it like a workout or something to that effect. But really, there's a lot of people that probably did that only because they couldn't get their unemployment or other benefits and things like that as they were sitting there waiting. They didn't have any money coming in. Some still don't. It's been 60 days and they haven't, seen a penny. So who knows? But yeah, I think that you're going to see come September, come October, definitely in November. And of course, then Fannie will put another moratorium because of the holidays, because that's just what they do. So probably come January of next year, you'll see the market start to flood again with, some REO properties, some bank foreclosures. You're going to start to see some short sales again, where people are going to be looking for, forgiveness, right, for the difference of their loan versus what they can get on the market. Fortunately, right now, prices haven't really dropped. So, it won't be that drastic like it was, in the mid 2000s. But, it'll still be significant, I think. We won't see it to the extent that we had it, but it will definitely be there. And if the BPO orders are any indication of what's to come, it'll be significant for Michigan anyways. That's my thoughts on that.
Yeah, no, it's right on. Any other questions?
Well, I'm not sure what happened. I know that his brother was texting him and I haven't heard back, so I don't know. Hold on.
All right, guys. So
hold on. He's hopping on now.
Oh,
I just got the text.
perfect.
How's that for timing?
Yeah. Back the slide up to about him too.
Okay.
I'll let you do the introduction. Guys, thanks for being so patient. If anybody's on that hadn't joined the meetup site, join it, because we'll be sending out a lot of stuff over these next months. We're also doing a networking meeting once a week too, that just where you bring your deals and talk about them. And like Rick, you could come on that networking meeting and talk about the mortgage stuff, or anybody that's got anything, any products that they want to pitch or services.
David, hi there.
Hello. Hey, sorry about that.
That's okay. Everybody, this is David Helm. He is our local real estate attorney. He
Hello.
is the brother of an agent in my office and well-versed in all things real estate. So hold on one second. I'm going to pull up the slide here and just kind of give you, here's his contact information. He's located in the Plymouth, Michigan area. I'll put the slide back up for anybody who wants this information at the end of this evening's presentation. And here's his bio. So I'm gonna let you kind of introduce yourself, David, and then take it away. How's that?
All right, sounds good. Yeah, so my name's David Helm, and apologize for being late. I forgot to check my watch. So this Zoom thing is all new to me as well. But I practice law. I do a lot of real estate law, work with a lot of real estate investors. I also do handle probate matters, which I'm here to talk to you about today because there seems to be a growing trend, which I think is good for you guys, and we'll get into that in a minute. So I put together a slideshow because I thought I was doing this in front of everybody, but I'm just going to kind of walk through my presentation without so much the PowerPoint. But a lot of people aren't familiar with what probate court actually is. And probate court essentially is transferring a property of a decedent. When you're alive, you can give away your property, you can sell your property, you can transfer it however you want. But when you're you are unable to transfer your property because you don't exist anymore. So the only entity that I can actually transfer it for you is the court, and that is the purpose of probate court. It is there to allow you to transfer your property. Of course, there's trusts and there's things like that, but aside from that, if someone doesn't do their estate planning, they need to go to probate court. So the question for you guys is, why would you want to get involved in probate court? And the answer is obvious. Of course, people die and they leave their property behind. And what that allows you to do is sort of invest in this real estate, purchase this real estate with without necessarily involving real estate agents. If you get on the probate listings through the Detroit Legal News or the Oakland County Legal News or any of the legal newses, you can see when an individual has passed, whether or not there's been an estate opened. And before the family members even think about selling the house, you could be sending them notices telling them that you're interested in buying it. And I'm sure you all know that it's more advantageous to purchase property before it hits the market than once it hits the market. So the basics of probate is that an interested person can open the estate. Usually it's a family member. If the individual has a will, they will usually designate who they want to be their personal representative. If there is no will, then one of the family members goes and will file it, and can open it up as an interested person, and then they have to follow certain proceedings and certain requirements. One of them would be accounting for the value of the estate, which would include any real estate holdings, and then distributing that according to a will or according to the law if they have no will, and then closing down the estate. Separate from, it's usually a family member, but separately from a family member, it could be a devisee, someone who's entitled to inherit property through a will that could open it, even if they're otherwise not interested, say a charity or something. If a person dies and leaves all the money to a charity, that charity can open up the probated estate. Or also a creditor. If someone is owed money from the decedent, then that creditor can go ahead and open up the estate as well. So you want to get a hold of the probate proceedings, the records, and figure out who the personal representative is. It might not be the best just to send it to the address of the decedent, because there might not be anyone checking the mail there. But it's all public record who the personal representative is. You can get copies of it. They're required to put their address there, and you can send everything to their address. I was trying to go through my notes here. So when should a real estate agent really get involved in these types of proceedings? Well, there's normally two options if you're not interested in the will. The first option would be once it gets listed and it's in the MLS, and you can go contact the real estate agent or the personal representative directly, however it's listed, and do it that way. Or the other way is, or actually before it's listed, you can, if the probate estate is open, you can contact the personal representative. The other way, and this is where I've been seeing a trend, handle this for a few investors now, where the individual has died. There's no probated estate open, but someone's interested in buying the house. Maybe you're the real estate investor that's interested in buying the house. And you can approach the family members, and sometimes they're in a position where they can't afford the house, but they still want to live there. So what you can do is purchase it, maybe lease it back to them, something like that. I've had a couple of real estate investors who have actually paid my fees to open the estate. I represent the personal representative, I would represent the estate, but my fees are being paid by the real estate investor who wants to purchase this home. And that's actually been a real growing trend, especially for some of these up and coming neighborhoods where maybe the decedent doesn't have any money, the family doesn't have any money, but you see potential in the home and you actually want to buy into that. This helps them along. Everyone sort of benefits from this. The problem with this, or not the problem, the cautionary tale, is that the real estate investor is not the client of mine. When I've done these, the real estate investor, and I tell them up front, you're paying me, that's fine. I don't care who pays me, but I represent the family, I represent the estate, specifically the personal representative. If that personal representative, after you've invested the money by paying me, decides that they want to turn around and list the house or renegotiate with you for a higher amount, there's nothing I can do about it. I'm duty bound to represent them. Even though you're coming to me and setting all this up, I have to represent my client. And if they do that, because you don't have a purchase agreement signed yet, because there's no estate, so there's no legal entity for you to sign a purchase agreement, they can do that. So that's the risk you run.